Over the past year, Robby Starbuck has emerged as one of the most vocal critics of diversity, equity, and inclusion, commonly referred to as DEI, policies in corporate America. As a former Hollywood director turned conservative activist, Starbuck argues that these initiatives prioritize identity over merit, creating division rather than unity. But what exactly are DEI policies, and why do they inspire such heated debate? Are they a necessary step toward equity and fairness, or are they creating more problems than they solve? In this video, we'll explore Robby Starbuck's journey from the world of entertainment to political activism, the specifics of his campaign against DEI, and how this cultural clash is reshaping corporate America. We'll also discuss the broader implications of these policies and their future in today's increasingly divided world. Who is Robby Starbuck? Robby Starbuck's journey began far from the political stage. Born into a Cuban-American family, he grew up valuing hard work, individuality, and creativity. These values led him to a successful career as a music video director, where he worked with some of the biggest names in entertainment. Despite his achievements, Starbuck grew increasingly frustrated with Hollywood's embrace of what he described as progressive groupthink. He believed the entertainment industry had become a vehicle for pushing political agendas, often at the expense of creativity and freedom of thought. In 2019, Starbuck made a dramatic decision. He left Hollywood to pursue conservative activism. He saw this as a personal mission to protect the principles of meritocracy and individualism that he felt were being eroded by modern culture. Today, Robby Starbuck is a prominent figure in conservative circles, using his platform to challenge what he calls the woke policies shaping corporate America. What are DEI policies? DEI policies are initiatives designed to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. They focus on three main objectives: diversity, increasing representation of employees from underrepresented groups; equity, removing barriers to ensure fair access to opportunities, regardless of background; inclusion, creating a workplace culture where employees feel respected and valued. For example, companies might introduce unconscious bias training, set diversity quotas for hiring, or implement mentorship programs for minority employees. These initiatives gained significant traction after movements like Black Lives Matter and #MeToo brought issues of systemic inequality to the forefront. Supporters argue that DEI policies are essential for addressing workplace inequities and fostering innovation. Studies suggest that diverse teams tend to be more creative and productive. However, critics, including Robby Starbuck, argue that these policies can unintentionally harm businesses by focusing too heavily on identity rather than individual ability and merit. Why is Robby Starbuck fighting DEI? Robby Starbuck's opposition to DEI policies stems from his belief that they undermine meritocracy and foster division in the workplace. He argues that these initiatives prioritize identity traits such as race, gender, or sexual orientation over individual qualifications and performance. One of Starbuck's main critiques is the unintended consequences of mandatory bias training. While these programs are intended to build understanding and reduce prejudice, he argues that they often leave employees feeling alienated, judged, or even attacked. In some cases, employees have spoken out, claiming that these trainings unfairly categorize them as privileged or complicit in systemic issues. Starbuck also warns that DEI policies risk creating a culture of tokenism, where individuals are hired or promoted based on identity rather than competence. He believes this approach not only damages morale, but can also hinder a company's overall performance. The economics of DEI policies. DEI policies don't just impact workplace culture, they also have significant financial implications. Major corporations allocate millions, even billions, of dollars to diversity training, recruitment efforts, and community outreach programs each year. Proponents argue that these investments are worth it, citing studies that link diverse leadership teams to better financial performance and higher innovation. However, critics like Robby Starbuck question whether these initiatives deliver measurable results. For example, some companies report minimal changes in employee satisfaction or productivity, despite spending heavily on DEI efforts. This raises a key question: Are DEI policies a sound business strategy, or are they more about optics than outcomes? The cultural implications of DEI. DEI policies have become a flashpoint in a much larger cultural debate. Supporters see these initiatives as a necessary step toward addressing systemic inequalities and fostering a more just society. Opponents, including Robby Starbuck, argue that DEI reflects a broader shift toward identity politics, a focus on group identities that, they say, undermines individual achievement and personal responsibility. This cultural clash extends beyond the workplace, touching every corner of society. For some, DEI is a symbol of progress. For others, it represents the erosion of traditional values and the rise of a victimhood mentality. Starbuck's campaign taps into these tensions, positioning him as a central figure in this ongoing battle. How are companies responding? Starbucks' campaign has had a tangible impact. Several major corporations, including Walmart and Ford, have announced changes to their DEI strategies, scaling back mandatory training sessions and removing race and gender-based hiring criteria. While some view these changes as a victory for fairness and common sense, others see them as a setback in the fight for workplace equality. This debate reflects the challenges companies face as they navigate competing demands from employees, stakeholders, and the public. The future of DEI policies. As the debate over DEI continues, the future of these policies remains uncertain. Will companies continue to scale back their efforts, or will public and political pressure push them to double down? What's clear is that Robby Starbuck's campaign has forced corporations to reevaluate their priorities. Whether you see him as a disruptor or a defender of fairness, his influence on the DEI debate is undeniable. The question now is, how can companies find a balance that promotes inclusivity without sacrificing efficiency or fairness? What's your take on DEI policies? Are they a step toward equality, or do they create more problems than they solve? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into today's most pressing issues.